Tax credits, we pay more. Right now, there's a 30% federal tax credit, for example, for a solar installation. We pay more per energy unit delivered as taxpayers than we do under feed-in tariff. And it's not as productive. We don't get as many energy units because, you know, the credits are manipulated to get the highest return on things. There's no incentive. What if someone put in a solar array and they put it on the north side of the house under the trees? As long as they got their invoice, they can turn that in to the IRS and they're going to get their 30% credit, even though their system is not really producing that much power at all. So it's not a performance-based incentive. And quite frankly, solar is going crazy down in Louisiana. We call it the Wild West down there because they get the 30% federal tax credit and they get a 50% state income tax credit, fully refundable. 80% of their systems are subsidized down there, and they have about a 5-year payback. The industry is going nuts down there. But we don't have oil and gas money. We don't have the wealth that comes to Louisiana. And I would rather see a program that made Arkansas revenue, earn the state revenue, rather than us having to subsidize and pay out these revenues. Now, I think there's little disagreement that almost everything we do in the United States is subsidized in one way or the other, whether it's milk and cheese or renewable energy or our mature existing fossil and nuclear fuels. I want to leave that up there long enough just to kind of show you that for the $521 you paid in the last 5 years to support the conventional resources, you paid $7 and some odd to support renewable energy. And Germany has 6,000% more solar than we do. And they have a little more than half as much sun as we have here in Arkansas. And they've done it through this unique program that they developed. In fact, globally, almost 3/4 of all of the solar that has gone in anywhere in the world has been supported by a feed-in tariff, a performance-based incentive, long-term contracts. Those are those catchphrases that are so important to what we're doing. So I introduced to you, third time's a charm, as some of the legislators know. I've knocked on their door the last 2 sessions, and we have come very, very close. But I bring to you now the Clean Energy Act of 2013. And most of what you're going to see here in the next few slides is cut and pasted right out of the act. I want you to understand clearly what we want this to be. It is what it says here: to stimulate jobs, to stimulate economic development, and to protect the utilities. I believe Bill Clinton at the National Democratic Convention said that there were more people employed in the renewable energy industry today than there are in the coal industry. He's pretty good about getting his facts. I didn't fact check him, but I never saw that statement rebuffed. So we're gonna create some jobs here. Here are some of the parameters that we want to set through this legislation. We want the facility to be in the state. We're going to create jobs putting those wind machines in, developing that pipe, that bio down on the farm. We're going to put those solar systems in here, and it will create jobs in the state. It has to be a renewable resource. We want to limit the size to 20 megawatts. There will be some caveats that go along with that, I'm sure. But the wind machine guys, one wind machine is now upwards of around 2 megawatts. And if we don't offer a threshold that's high enough, we're not going to get some of that really cost-effective renewable energy development here because we've kept the threshold too small. Obviously, again, it will encourage the development and use of renewable energy. Right out of the language, part of this act, the intention is that the program and policy be developed to protect the integrity and the reliability of the electric utility system, to protect public health and safety. And it states in the act that whatever the policy is developed, whatever tariffs are approved, must be in the public interest. I don't know how to state any more clearly that we're not trying to drive people's rates up or do a boondoggle. In fact, we have 10 years plus experience of everybody else that's done it, including those that have done it almost right and completely wrong, to draw on to make sure we get it right. We're asking for 1,200 megawatts. Now, if you had a 100 megawatt solar facility, it doesn't operate 24/7. You could have a conventional power plant right beside it, natural gas fired plant, operating at 95% efficiency, 24/7. 100 megawatts is going to make a lot of electricity over 24 hours, when we're only going to make it maybe around 5 hours a day. So 1,200 megawatts nameplate really amounts to about 5% of the energy that we consume here in Arkansas. I took the 36 states, I believe it is, that have renewable portfolio standards, and I took the average percentage that they were going for, and I took the average year that they had targeted, and the average is 25% by 2020. We're asking for 5% to get us started. And utilities can own half of it. Let them, if they choose, to own and operate up to 50% of the requirement. I think it's important that if everybody is paying, everybody can play. And we want the door to be open to everybody. You don't want to put a lot of expensive water in a bucket with holes in it, right? This language is in the middle. First, if you're out there in the middle of the field and you're going to put in a wind farm, fine. But if you own a home or you own a business and you want to put solar on your home and you want to take advantage of a feed-in contract, we want that house to be efficient. We want the holes plugged first. We don't want to support a